So, what's the best part about the job besides the travel?
Beside the travel, actually, the travel is also pretty challenging. When you have a full schedule. But the best part of the job for me are interacting with students, and I mean both in class, so I teach classes, and within research. Okay, so the creativity is just astounding. So I try to nurture that within my students. But just the very best part, why I wake up every morning, I go in and I know I'm going to get to like interact with students on research problems that I enjoy, that they enjoy, that they're super excited about.
Okay.
Okay, so that yeah, always puts a smile on my face.
Well, touching on that, how do you keep your students motivated?
That's a good question, and so I guess some of the my successes at least. Have come from just being interested in the problem myself. So it really, I think maybe some of that, and comes from within. So how interested I am in the problem, the enthusiasm with which I come in every day. And I think that wears off on the students as well. But I've been fortunate to have had, really engaged students, motivated students, and that doesn't, it doesn't mean they're engaged 100% of the time. I fully encourage taking time off. Okay, so I come from a European type of training where, summers, my advisor used to take, there were 2 weeks every year. He'd take that time off, he'd go away, recharge. I think giving them time to also do things, outside of, actually encouraging them to do things outside of research and, is also important. I play basketball, that keeps me going. I find I get all the physical energy out on the court, and I can sit down and think about, reason about problems and so on. And, I encourage my students. Robinson, who you may have seen him around, he plays soccer, and, we talk about these things as well. I have another student who does powerlifting, and yeah, so having, encouraging and nurturing their outside interests is also important.
Okay. I have a question outside the topic of research. Basketball, Luca or Tatum?
No comment.
Okay. How do you come up with good research ideas?
Yeah, I'm gonna hang out here and see if I can. I don't know. That's the short answer to that. Good research problems. I talk to people, in the field a lot. Try to understand, problems they're working on, challenges they're facing within their research. Going to talks, conferences. But I think this is a challenging problem to have to have one, nice solution. Yeah. So based on my interactions, really. That, and I pursue what I'm interested in, and then, there's also the additional kind of caveat. You got to get it funded too, and that's an important aspect. You got to think about what's been funded and so on. But these are some of the kind of things that maybe we'd think about later on. But again, I'm still navigating that space, and some of the more experienced researchers, will probably have much more to add about how one picks, good problems. But I think interacting with peers, colleagues, and going to conferences is typically a good way to at least seed where the community is heading.
In terms of research, how do you overcome challenges in your research?
What kind of challenges?
So, say like you have like a prediction, or you have like a hypothesis, and you turn out the hypothesis isn't correct. Do you keep investing time into it, or do you say, okay, this is not going in the right direction? Let's think about it differently.
Well, I guess if you conclude that it's not correct, then that great. Then you can move on, and you've closed the loop, right? The challenge in, I guess, is, when either we don't have the technology to fully explore the extent of your hypothesis, so you're proving it one way or the other. That yeah. So I guess that's the challenging part. And sometimes I run the risk of kind of being married to an idea and trying to see it through and just thinking I'm this close. But often one thing I've learned from actually talking to other people who've mentored me is you ought to take a break from a problem and every now and then and come back to it. You may see something that was literally staring at you in the face and you never saw. And if you don't, no hard feelings. There are many problems out there that need solving. Okay, but picking the right one is of course a challenge.
Okay. The final question I have is actually it's not really a question, but do you have any suggestions for new researchers starting out in the field?
I guess that this initiative in itself is one of the things I wish I had, is just building a community early. When I was a grad student, I didn't really get that opportunity. I did signal processing. It's huge field. The conferences are huge. It was really hard. At least I found it hard to build kind of a big enough network of a support network.
Okay.
And particularly for underrepresented groups, I think I'd go to a conference and maybe there's me and one other person of the same demographic, and out of 3,000, 5,000, right? And so building a nice network early, forcing yourself, if that's not innate, to go out there and talk to people, because the community is incredibly friendly, and I assure you, anyone you talk to will be immediately keen to chat, listen to your ideas, give you suggestions, and talk about whatever it is you at least research problem you're thinking about. Okay, so I would say build a nice network, talk to people, put yourself out there, and don't worry about it. Okay.
Thank you.